During a recent session, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States (OECS) leaders clearly conveyed the region's principal concerns. A key issue addressed was the involvement of Cuban medical missions. The OECS reiterated that these programs are neither exploitative nor in violation of international labor standards. They emphasized the vital role Cuban doctors play in delivering essential healthcare services, particularly in rural and underserved areas. While expressing openness to enhancing oversight mechanisms, the OECS firmly rejected any mischaracterization of these partnerships as human trafficking. Prime Minister Pierre confirmed the successful continuation of these programs.
Cuban medical program is continuing. We explained to the U.S. that there was no human trafficking. There were concerns that there may have been human trafficking, etc. We explained to the U.S., to the Secretary of State, that there was no human trafficking. The Cuban personnel in St. Lucia were paid a salary. They lived in the country. They had their own homes, their own social life. They lived like anybody that comes from anywhere else, like the Indian doctors come from India. But so we think there's a better understanding, and the program, as far as we got from the meeting, will not be stopped.
Prime Minister Pierre also highlighted other significant discussions, including the OECS leaders reaffirming their sovereign right to maintain diverse diplomatic and economic relationships, including with China, based on developmental cooperation. They assured the U.S. that these relationships are non-military in nature and driven by economic necessity rather than geopolitical alignment. The topic of regional security was also addressed. The OECS heads of government appreciated U.S. support through initiatives such as the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, but emphasized the need for a broader definition of security.
That includes disaster preparedness, climate resilience, and economic security. With hurricane season imminent, the U.S. welcomed the reactivation of the U.S. early warning and emergency response programs.
Furthermore, the OECS leaders brought to the Secretary's attention that the U.S. maintains a significant trade advantage with the region. In 2023, U.S. exports to the OECS reached $2.23 billion compared to OECS exports to the U.S. of only $67.5 million. The OECS expressed its willingness to engage in constructive dialogue on fair trade and development, urging a reconsideration of trade imbalances, especially given the region's vulnerabilities and close economic ties with U.S. markets. Prime Minister Pierre described the initial engagement with Secretary Rubio as respectful, candid, and productive.
It laid a solid foundation for continued dialogue and joint action. The OECS looks forward to tangible follow-through on the commitments made and reiterates its readiness to work with the United States on a renewed agenda of cooperation grounded in shared values, respect, and partnership.
The Prime Minister recently participated in the meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Honorable Marco Rubio, leading a delegation of OECS heads of government on May 6, 2025. Kayla Edwin, MBC Prime.